Welcome to the Louisiana Business and Industry Show. And now your host, Tim Johnson.
The Louisiana Community and Technical College system plays a critical role in our state's economy. We'll talk to the president of the LCTCS, Dr. Monty Sullivan, when we return on this edition of the Louisiana Business and Industry Show.
Consumers and property owners with construction projects can have a successful result or regretful experiences that could have been avoided. Before any construction project, verify licensure of the contractor and check references. Scammers will claim to be insured or bonded, so always check first. Download our app, LA Contractor, from the Android or Apple Store. Visit our website, lacontractor.org, or contact the Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors. We're here to help before things go wrong. Hire a licensed contractor. It's the law.
Spadel's Florist was founded over 30 years ago. From my mom's kitchen, we have grown into one of the largest florists in this area. There's a sense in our community that you stick together. Good times or bad. And oil and gas is part of that family. They're my neighbors. They're my customers. They're the person I'm sitting next to at church. If oil and gas is doing well, all of our businesses are doing well. We are Louisiana Oil and Gas.
The Work Ready You program changed my life. There's opportunities for everything. You could be a welder, you could be a nurse. You can take any trade you want, and it's free. I dreamed of it as a kid, be successful, making a life for myself and making me a family. I always dreamed of it, but I never thought that I would be here, and dreams come true.
For your free high school equivalency training, text diploma to 55,000 or give us a call.
Passion, experience, safety. These are what set Arkell Constructors apart as a premier general contractor. At Arkell Constructors, our goal is to exceed our clients' expectations, whether it's commercial, industrial, or facility maintenance. We have the team and processes in place to provide a solution for you. To us, every project is a resume for our future. Arkell Constructors, the solution for your next building project.
Welcome back to the Louisiana Business and Industry Show. Pleased to be joined by the president of the Louisiana Community and Technical College system, Dr. Monty Sullivan. My friend, welcome back.
Tim, great to be with you. Thank you.
Give us an overview of the current state of the LCTCS.
Sure. 20 years, our two-year college system was formed in 1997-98, and here we are 20 years later, 12 community and technical colleges, represented in 53 of the 64 parishes, serving over 160,000 Louisiana citizens. Wow. Quite a footprint, both the workforce mission, the transfer mission, providing broad opportunities to the people of Louisiana. One of the things we're most proud of is both the student population that we serve. The average age is 27. These are folks that are showing up at our colleges with life experience, with work experience, but looking for the skills to be able to take care of their family and make a living. The second part of what we're so proud of is the business relationships. What our colleges have done is connected themselves so well with the economy and with the major employers of Louisiana in a way that helps students be able to make that transition from the doorstep of the college right into some of the biggest names in industry in Louisiana.
You talk about that alignment, and we've had this conversation many times, Monty. But you think about the alignment of Sowella and Sasol and Lake Charles. You think about other IBM and Baton Rouge Community College here in Baton Rouge. I want to spend some time talking about that because your real mission, whether it be transfer to be associate degree, be it transfer, be it industry-based certification, your real mission is preparing Louisiana's workforce, right?
That's
Talk
exactly
specifically
right.
about that.
That effort is one that I think initially 20 years ago was really a bifurcated kind of approach of transfer or workforce. And what's happened in the last 20 years is really an evolution of what's expected in the workplace. So what we're seeing more and more is that people are showing up at the college and they want to earn a certification to go to work. Oftentimes it moves them from $8 an hour to $15 an hour. When they earn that $15 an hour, that's progress, but it's not enough. And so coming back to the college to earn that next certification, to earn the associate degree, and then ultimately perhaps to transfer on and get the baccalaureate degree, allowing them to reach mid-management, allowing them to reach a salary that is the life they expect, that essentially is the American dream. So what our colleges offer is not just simply access to the workforce, but it is the broad range of the skills needed to be prepared to work in not just today's workforce, but tomorrow's workforce and all the tomorrows.
You know, we've talked a lot on this show this year and over the years about this four-year university for all approach, this culture that we've developed in the United States over the last 4 or 5 years. And while we're always careful to say we never want to discourage anyone from going to the four-year university, the point that I want to talk a little bit about with you is this pathway idea, right? Is that we may end up with a four-year degree from one of our great four-year institutions in Louisiana, but that pathway is not, doesn't have to be immediate, and it doesn't have to be terminal, right? So we can go into the community college for a certification process, industry-based certification, then go on to get an associate degree, and then earn money and save and be able to pay for eventually a four-year degree. We're doing a better job, I think, Monty, talking to Louisiana's citizens about these different possibilities and pathways. It's not get straight out of high school and straight into college anymore. There are other avenues to success.
Oh, you're absolutely right. Some of what is going on in Louisiana with things like Louisiana Calling, with the efforts that our friends at Career Compass are doing around the state of Louisiana, what we're seeing is a change in the mindset and a change in the discussion. And I think largely, moving on as an 18-year-old student from high school directly into college is a path for many students. But we also know that of the 40,000+ students that graduate high school, there are about 10,000 that really don't show up in higher education and they don't show up in the military. So the question becomes, what happens? You can't survive in this economy on a minimum wage job. That's a reality. And the other reality is without skills, you will make minimum wage. And so our approach is to make sure that people have the fastest path to the first certification. So the Pathways concept is one that some good friends of mine in the community college world developed a number of years ago at Columbia Teachers College. And that notion was to develop stackable credentials. Much of the rest of the country has focused on the first credential. Much of what we have been able to succeed in Louisiana that we're very proud of, largely because of the kind of economy that is available to us in Louisiana, is that those credentials, like the NCCER certifications, like the maritime certifications, those are stackable by their very nature. And so ultimately having a student come in and get credentials that allow them to go to work, coming back, allowing them to earn while they learn, to come back to the college and complete the college algebra course or the English course, that oftentimes we're front-loading in the past. We front-loaded those courses that have knocked so many people out of higher education, and so they think college isn't for me. The reality is it was the skills they needed to begin with. Get them into the college, complete the skills, let them come back and finish the general education on the back end and progress with associate degree and bachelor's degree.
You make such a wonderful point there, because in my consulting work, I travel around the country talking to folks about careers, particularly in the construction industry. Right. And what I've seen out there is that we've got a whole generation of young people that have lived their lives mostly in poverty, who don't really believe that they can be anything. Right. If you say to them electrician or pipe fitter or welder or process operator or associate degree, it's really foreign to them. Right. When in fact they are completely capable, surely intelligent enough to make it happen. And once they get into a system like yours and they're able to realize a little bit of success, it gives them the confidence to be able to go on and achieve more.
Tim, you're so right. If you think, and we won't put a number to this, but when you and I were in graduating high school and moving on to college, it was a four-year experience, and it was typically 4, and if you could eke out a 5th year and have a little fun, then that was great. And there is still a place for that direct university path. But the reality is, for many of our students in Louisiana, they need that skill set first, because making a living is the priority. I tell folks all the time, our students don't show up looking for the sheepskin to hang on the wall. They show up looking for the other piece of paper. It's the W-2.
The paycheck,
It's
right?
the paycheck.
And
that
that's
matters.
how you participate successfully in the economy. Let's take a break. I want to come back and talk about alignment, and I want to talk about system goals. We're visiting with Dr. Monty Sullivan. He's the president of the Louisiana Community and Technical College System, and you're watching the Louisiana Business and Industry Show.
Since 1919, we've designed and constructed hundreds of industrial plants, roads, ships, dams, and executed some of the most complex jobs in the world. In fact, our quality and dependability are legendary. Today, the legend continues as Brown & Root delivers engineering, construction, maintenance, and industrial specialty services throughout the U.S. and the world from our headquarters here in Louisiana. We are Brown & Root.
ExxonMobil Baton Rouge keeps the local economy rolling. Our new aviation project created hundreds of jobs, drove millions of dollars to local businesses, and poured thousands more into our community to improve schools. 1 in 8 jobs in our parish can be traced back to ExxonMobil. Tomorrow's Baton Rouge is built by what we do today. A little energy goes a long way. ExxonMobil Baton Rouge. Energy lives here.
The 1012 Industry Report is excited to announce the 1012 Industry Weekly. This e-newsletter is free and comes to your inbox every Tuesday. All you have to do is sign up at 1012industryreport.com. 1012 Industry Report is an award-winning magazine serving South Louisiana's petrochemical and oil and gas industries. From Lake Charles to Baton Rouge and New Orleans, we cover the news, people, projects, and issues that matter to industry. The 1012 Industry Report magazine and weekly email. Sign up today.
Welcome back to the Louisiana Business and Industry Show. Dr. Monty Sullivan, president of the LCTCS, is our guest. You and I were talking a little bit during the break about the critical nature of alignment with the real job providers in each of the regions of the state where your institutions exist. Critically important. The old days of here's what we offer at the community and technical college, and we don't really know if it's aligned with the economy or not. We don't really know if it's what job providers are looking for. Those days are gone. You are laser focused on aligning with the employers in the regions where your institutions exist. Talk about the specifics of that, Monty.
You know, Tim, that was driven largely by the reduction in state general fund and the increase in tuition. And a lot of times in higher education, we might talk about that in a negative sense. But the reality is, it drove a great deal of improvement in our colleges to make us more market responsive and more responsive to our customer, which is both the student and the employer. And so whether it's in Northeast Louisiana at Louisiana Delta Community College and the relationship with graphics packaging, General Dynamics that literally sits on the campus at Bossier Parish Community College, Sasol that orients its new employees at Sewella Technical Community College, CGI, which is a huge IT employer in the Lafayette region, and their relationship with South Louisiana Community College, DXC and its relationship with multiple institutions in the New Orleans region, including Delgado. I mean,
you mentioned IBM and Baton Rouge
Community College. I mean, there are these relationships that are driven by what is needed by the employer. And so oftentimes we have this discussion about what is it that our colleges offer. There was a point in time where we offered programs. Today I would submit to you that the offering that we provide to our students is a leveraged relationship with some of the biggest employers in Louisiana. We are the front door to some of the largest employers in Louisiana that provide not only good paying jobs, but careers that allow people to be able to raise a family, to do the things that they seek to do in life.
To participate successfully in the economy. That's
exactly it. And community, right? To be the ball coaches and the scout leaders and that sort of thing that we so desperately need in our communities. And it is about the bigger picture. Alignment has truly been the big question for us. One of the issues we'll talk about in a few minutes is the notion of quality. We asked the question of employers, how do you determine quality? And they answered it very simply. If we pay them, and we pay them a good wage over a sustained period of time, then they're quality. And so that's why we adopted this notion of wages as a proxy for quality. And that alignment issue now becomes a benefit to the student as well. So yes, tuition has gone up, but the program value that we're offering to students today is greater than it's ever been before.
And you're doing innovative things like Work Ready U, ensuring these employers that individuals who come out of your programs will be ready to go to work on day one. Talk specifically about those guarantees.
Louisiana, and it's an unfortunate reality for us. We have over 600,000 adults in the state with no high school diploma. And it's a tough circumstance. Here's the challenge that we had as open admissions institutions, 12 institutions. Here we are claiming to be open admissions, but yet if you didn't have a high school diploma, we said you were not eligible to enroll at our college. And so I would ask the question, where would you have those folks go? Yeah. The reality is they were typically having to show up at some form of government service that was a cost to the state of Louisiana. Our board took a bold step to eliminate the high school diploma as a requirement for admission. Now, some would ask the question, wait a second, were you eliminating quality? Not at all, because here's what we found. Those adult students show up at our colleges, in our classes, and are more motivated than any other student there, because life circumstance has motivated them. They have no choice but to succeed in the classroom and ultimately in the economy. And so the 42,000 adults that we served last year in our Work Ready U effort, we have students now, 1 in 4 of our credit enrollments are coming from that Work Ready U program, which means that adults are showing up at the college, they're enrolling in adult basic education, and they're moving into college credit courses and completing certifications that allow them to go to work. Sometimes that's in a credit course, like the same degree programs that you and I pursued. Sometimes that's in certifications that are workforce, non-credit type, industry-based certifications that get them into the economy more quickly. But giving someone the skills that they need in order to be able to participate in the economy, as you mentioned, brings a sense of purpose. It also brings a sense of self-worth that I think is really an important element of this discussion for 600,000 people in Louisiana.
We mentioned that for the first time, many of these folks are realizing that they are capable enough to succeed academically in those settings, and your team is helping them to do that. I want to spend the last minute and a half or so in this segment talking about facility development. You and I have had this discussion before as well, Monty. You can have good training, right in a lean-to. It doesn't, but having good facilities and good equipment and modern technology so that individuals can be taught and trained on the exact same type of equipment that they're going to find when they get into the workplace is critical. You're building new facilities at Central Louisiana and Alexandria. Spend a minute or so talking about what you guys are doing there.
So, there was a point in time, and I have to give a great deal of credit to Senator Robert Adley, a gentleman who sponsored what was then Act 391 from 2007, and then ultimately in 2013, what became Act 360. It's nearly $500 million of infrastructure that's been invested in our two-year colleges. As much as we might not like to acknowledge it, the notion of the former technical college, which was a blonde brick building, flat top roof, oftentimes didn't send the message to the public from the curbside that there was much going on inside that facility that was worthwhile. What has happened as a result of the build out has been not only a physical presence change, but also a mindset change, because it's not simply what the building looks like from the curbside, it's what's inside. So when you show up to the River City campus down in Avondale, in Jefferson Parish, and you see all of the equipment that is right there available for an advanced manufacturing mechatronics, and in fact this week making that announcement of a huge mechatronics initiative for the manufacturers in that region, driven largely by the fact that we now have a location to be able to train those folks. So I mentioned earlier graphics packaging. When that organization builds out one of the largest under roof manufacturing facilities in the nation in Monroe, just down the road is Louisiana Delta Community College with its Advanced Manufacturing Training Center that has twin training opportunities for the people who'll be going to work at graphics packaging. Those are the kinds of things that change mindsets, align curriculum, align opportunities for people, and help the public to understand that the front door to our college becomes the front door to the business and opportunity.
It's wonderful in terms of the development. I want to take a break. I want to come back and I want to talk about goals, because you've set some ambitious goals for the system in general. We're visiting with Dr. Monty Sullivan. He's the president of the Louisiana Community and Technical College System. You're watching the Louisiana Business and Industry Show.
I just see the positive things on the horizon, and BRAC is a real integral part of that.
BRAC's taken a very forward role in trying to help align people and align strategies and align solutions.
You'll find that you'll have an opportunity at BRAC to make a difference.
It's about being a part of conversations and really having a voice in terms of how we move the city forward.
A lot of my friends were in college and stuff, which is great. It wasn't the route for me, and financially, I know it's tough on a lot of people, so I saw welding. At first, my instinct was like, what pays the most money? So I was like, welding, that's the way to go. It made a great living for me and my family. You can always work your way up. There's multiple ladders, and really the sky's the limit. I thought I got to the max with as high as I can go with welding. As high as you want to grow, you can absolutely achieve it.
promoting workplace safety and family wellness. That's our motto at Gulf Coast Occupational Medicine. The Gulf Coast staff is made up of some of the most knowledgeable and hardest working medical professionals in Louisiana. We care about your safety and your bottom line. With 8 convenient locations in the greater Baton Rouge area, our services include injury management, physical exams, medical surveillance, and substance abuse testing. For more information, visit us on the web at gcombr.info and ride the wave to safety.
Welcome back to the Louisiana Business and Industry Show. Dr. Monty Sullivan, president of the Louisiana Community and Technical College System, is our guest. I am just awed by what you guys are doing in this system. We were talking during the break about the chancellors and the leadership and the teams at these individual colleges. You think about Jimmy Sawtelle and Dale Doty and Dennis Epps, who is just knocking it out of the park in Northeast Louisiana. You've been able to surround yourself with some of the Louisiana's best and brightest, and they are driving the system. And you've set really ambitious goals. You put a program together called Our Louisiana 2020, Building the Workforce of Tomorrow. I just want to mention a few things and then we'll get into details. You want to double the amount of graduates from the system. You want to double the annual earnings of your graduates. You want to quadruple student transfers to four-year universities. Double the number of students served, quadruple partnerships with business, and double foundation assets. Man, these are ambitious goals. But you've got the leadership in place to help you get there. Let's talk about each of those individually.
So a couple of comments about where those goals came from. We do have a great leadership team. I would put this team against any in the country. There is no better leadership team, person for person, than what we have in Louisiana's community and technical colleges today. Having said that, I have to also remind you that we've also had some pretty darn good leaders that have moved on to great opportunities, like Jim Henderson.
Jim Henderson, great example.
Paul Carlson, who is a leader of a college in Wisconsin today that's one of the best in the country. We've been able to generate that kind of leadership. This group of goals came from the leadership team. It came from guys like Neil Aspinwall and Jim Henderson and Natalie Harder, who sat and said, this is what's important to Louisiana. Not because we said it, but because it's what we heard from industry. Over 250 business leaders that we sat with and asked, what do you need from your community and technical colleges? And so, as an update, we are now complete year 4. We are in the midst of year 5. 40,000 students was the graduates total we were aiming at. We were at just about 20,000 when we began in 2014. This year, by June 30 of the current year, we're on pace to hit 30,000 graduates.
Wow. Tremendous,
tremendous progress. Now, some would say when you set those kind of quantitative goals, you lose some quality. And so the quality metric is earnings. What we know for a fact today is that our graduates are earning over $1 billion in Louisiana's economy every year. A graduating class, single class, earning over $1 billion in Louisiana's economy.
Think about the impact of that, not just on the economy, but on families, how transformative that can be.
That's right. Talk about children in poverty,
Right.
this is the path out.
That's how you do it.
It also, by the way, in a tough financial environment, is quite a tax contribution back to the tax, as a taxpayers and tax rolls of Louisiana. Right. The quadrupling of transfer students, we have already accomplished that goal. We are well positioned with over 15,000 transfer students the last couple of years. Our university partners, they desire our transfer students now, and they're demonstrating that not just by signing agreements, but also by extending an opportunity financially to these students.
Isn't that really a better model for higher education overall when the young folks go into the community and technical college system for their first 2 years, and then what they're really doing at the four-year institutions is finishing and polishing?
You got it. A great example is playing out today in Natchitoches. The AMT program, Advanced Manufacturing Technology program, which is jointly sponsored by Northwestern State University and Central Louisiana Technical Community College. But there's a third leg of the stool. The third leg is industry. They're at the table sponsoring these individuals with apprenticeships, giving them an opportunity to earn while they learn. So tremendous work going on there. In terms of the number of students served, 325,000 was our goal. Look, let's be honest, we're not going to hit 325,000 students. We still would have to double at this point. But the reality is we have gotten much more efficient at producing graduates. So if you think about that number, we know that there's more work to be done on the enrollment side, but we fully anticipate hitting 5 of these 6 goals in the next 2 years. Our business partnerships are where it all began. We were looking to quadruple the number of business partnerships to get to 1,000. We're sitting today at 1,400 business partnerships in year 4. We'll continue to see that grow. I wouldn't be surprised if by year 6 we're hitting 2,000 a year.
Let's spend some time on the last one. We've got about 2 minutes left in this segment. So talk about the critical importance of the LCTCS Foundation.
Let me tell you, with 12 colleges, we have 10 foundations that have been stood up at the colleges, and in addition to that, a board office foundation that helps to support the work of the colleges out in the communities. Over the last 4 years, we have raised from a $25 million total assets in the foundations collectively to now $45 million in 4 years.
Wow.
That is because our corporate partners understand the transaction that is occurring, where we're providing a workforce, and in exchange they understand we need resources. That comes in the form of equipment, it comes in the form of cash contributions, scholarships of all ranges. And so I encourage your viewers there, if you're interested in making an investment in local foundations, we encourage you to do so. Reach out to your local college. If you're interested in making a contribution to the foundation at the system level, certainly would love to have a conversation with them as well. But the impact for people is what we continue to drive home as the critical message.
About 40 seconds left, Monty. Your message to Louisiana citizens and to the business community.
You know, our message is very simple, and that is that our community and technical colleges are here to help Louisiana's people be full participants in this economy. And our colleges are places of opportunity. And the connection of our colleges back to the business community, I think, is a critical link to the future of Louisiana's economy and to the future of Louisiana overall.
It is certainly one of the answers to our critical poverty issue in this state. Dr. Monty Sullivan, my friend.
Always good to be with you.
Always a pleasure, my friend. That's a wrap, guys. Thanks for joining us. Join us again next week at this very same time for another edition of the Louisiana Business and Industry Show.